So yes, this is X-Men the Arcade. This was one of my, like, I swear this game was like a staple of my childhood. We had a flea market around us. It's gone now, but I used to have a flea market near me called, it was a flea market, but it had a section called Fun World, where it's the first time I ever played this game, and my god, like, I was flinging quarters in that machine like crazy. And it used to, like, piss me off because, like, I was a kid, I didn't have a job. You'd have to, like, swing $5 out of your mom or dad, and then, like, you guys know if you're from the 90s, like, $5 in a beat 'em up, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to get to, like, level 2. Played this on my phone. It was fun for a minute. I love this game. This is another one I could replay over and over. 4-player. I guess we'll keep it on normal. You know, it's funny because I've tried normal, hard, and expert in this game, and I've never really noticed a difference. I guess they do a little more damage, but it doesn't really matter for an arcade where you're not actually using tokens. And this was originally a 6-player. There was a 6-player cabinet where you could have up to 6 people. I'm gonna start with Colossus, and then maybe I'll do Dazzler because she's not in any other games really either. Are you trying to look like either Beast Sabertooth or Wolverine with that beard? Maybe a mixture of all of them. I remember getting to play this in an arcade with free play on. It was super fun. Yeah, with free play, it's awesome. But it's stressful on an actual arcade because your powers use up health. So it's like you're trying your best not to use your powers. It's like, it's a freaking X-Men game. Why would I not want to use my powers?
In the 21st century,
so badass.
led by Magneto, aimed to destroy the world. Humans could do nothing against the power of the evil mutant.
Another game, another beer.
Only hope is X-Men.
I am drinking water today. I was like super dehydrated today. I was tired.
Go and save the city.
There's Kitty. By the way, if you guys have not seen the original X-Men cartoon, I'm not talking about like the 90s one. I'm talking about before that. They had a pilot episode called Pride of the X-Men. That theme song, it was amazing. I wish they would have kept it. It's on Google. You guys should listen to it if you haven't. Or not Google, YouTube. I love Colossus' power. He just flexes. Look at this. He just flexes muscles. Oh! Love that. We'll try to switch it up between all the different X-Men as I die. Because I will die in this game multiple times. Did you see the X-Men cartoon this was adapted from? Yeah, it's funny you said that, Clifton. Said that before I read your comment. Yeah, it's exactly what I was talking about. Pride of the X-Men. That theme song was awesome. That's like making FPS and making you not use your guns. Absolutely right. See, that was a life lost already. That would have been a quarter. We actually have an arcade bar about 25 minutes away that's got this game. Every time I go there, I play the game from beginning to end. That's why, honestly, like, beat-em-up arcades are my favorite kind of video game of all time, because you could argue they're repetitive, which, yeah, they are, but, like, I could replay these games over and over. Like, from my childhood to adulthood, I don't care. I'll have a blast. I definitely want to stream some more superhero games, though, because there are a lot of really good ones. A lot of really shitty ones, but there's plenty of good ones, too. Google, YouTube, same difference, yeah. I have the VHS. Oh, that... See, I don't even know where I saw that. I don't think I saw Pride of the X-Men until I was an adult and discovered it on YouTube. I didn't even know there was a VHS of it. If you spam the specials, the game gets dull. Yeah, that's why I try not to do that. I do it every once in a while just to be flashy. Because really, you could beat the whole game by just doing this over and over and over. But not when you were a kid, because... Or, well, at least if you were around in the 90s, because that would be more quarters you were spending. There's this part, too, where you fight Magneto. I remember the first time I thought I beat this game, I was ecstatic. I was over the moon. Because I finally beat Magneto, and I only had 1 quarter left. Fucking Magneto ended up being Mystique in disguise. And I was like, oh no! And I ran out of quarters. These games back then were just brutal. Okay, no, that's too many of them. It takes a brave man to wear thigh-high fetish boots. Or a game... Hey, if you're made of steel, you can wear whatever the hell you want. Shut up, Pyro. Shut up, crime. I never wait for Pyro to talk. I am Pyro. Dumbass. This makes me want to go back and read the like 90s X-Men comics. I got a whole box full of them. I've been collecting them, actually. I've talked about it before, but I've actually been working on slowly collecting all the 90s, like, early 90s Marvel comics. Specific collections. This game could have been a separate X-Men cartoon miniseries. Yeah, this was going to be the series, actually. Yeah, like Clifton said earlier, like, they had a pilot episode, but it just never took off, and then they ended up making the show we all know. The Fox Kids one. The one thing I didn't miss about MagFest, people doing the Colossus roar all the time. That's awesome. I want to go to the gym and do that. Like, after bench pressing, just get up and then, like... It's a shame this game never got a SNES adaptation. Yes. And actually, the way I'm playing now is the only home console version that ever got released on PS3. The only other way to play this is emulation. Which, technically, this is emulation, but you guys know what I mean. And also The Simpsons. The Simpsons is another game that came out on PS3, which, by the way, you can't get anymore. I don't know, due to the rights or whatever, they took it off, but... I bought that game when it first came out, so I do have The Simpsons on my PS3. But that's another awesome classic beat-em-up that just never got released anywhere. It's surprising to me, though, because, like, Turtles in Time got a really, really good Super Nintendo adaptation. So they could have done an X-Men one. And Simpsons one, and it would have been great. I would love to own all the X-Men and Spider-Man comics. Yeah, I'm buying the 90s stuff I'm buying. I'm buying X-Men, Spider-Man, Punisher Warzone, and Ghost Rider, the Dan Ketch version. Those are the series, and also the Spider-Man 2099 I'm a big fan of, so I'm trying to collect those too. I have a comic book shop about 20 minutes away that they do like half off sales all the time on back issues. So I'll go and spend like $50 at a time on like just a pile of old back issues from the 90s. And luckily those issues from the early 90s, they're not really worth a lot. I don't know why, but like they're really not worth that much money, even in good condition. Very specific ones maybe, but overall they're $3 or $4. So yeah, I definitely want to... I can't keep up with the modern comics. It's too much to buy and collect, but those I do want to own physically. Other than that, the modern comics I just read on my tablet. I missed out on The Simpsons. I waited too long. I'm sad. Yeah, that game was so fun, man. The only way to play it now is emulation. That's it. You used to be able to go right into the PlayStation Store and download it. Yeah. Oh. Oh, wait, I can't... Can I not switch my character? I don't know if I can switch my character. Do I have to get a game over? Well, I might have to play as Colossus for the game. I don't mind too much. I like Colossus, but damn. Does anyone know if I can switch my character? Because when I hit continue... I mean, you know what I could do? I could go back to the title screen after this level. That's what I could do. I could go back to the title screen and pick the next level. Pick mission 3. Simpsons Arcade Brawler was a high point of visiting my dad and going to the bowling alley with him and my bro when I was a kid. Yeah, I have a ton of good memories of that game. And that game was extremely hard. I never beat that one in the arcade. I didn't beat that game until I got the PS3 version because I didn't have to worry about quarters. It's crazy, man. You kids, like, viewers on this channel that are, let's see, any of you that are like 15 to 20 on this channel, like, you guys don't know what it's like, the struggle to run out of quarters while you're trying to, like, beat a game with these sweaty hands. And I mean, maybe some of you caught the tail end of that time period, but If you're like 15 or 16, like, you miss that era completely. Should be able to switch. Yeah, that's what I thought, but like, when I tried switching, I'll see what happens when I die again. Only comics I'm collecting is Moon Knight. Moon Knight's bad. I love Moon Knight, man. I had, I forgot what run it was. The Marvel Knights one, when they brought his series back. I want to, this was back like 8 years ago or something. I had a bunch of those, but I traded in all my modern comics forever ago. I used to spend like $100 a month on comics at my local comic shop. I had a box and everything with my subscriptions, but man, just collecting physical comics, it was too much. I was reading too many. And it's just, you run out of room, and I like putting them in binders and plastic sleeves, and that's why I was like, you know what, I'm selling all that stuff off, going digital, and I'll just collect the 90s stuff. Like, because you gotta have some kind of rules in place, or else, like, it'll just take over the house. Early 90s was that collector's era where everyone was buying comics and sitting on them, and they never turned out to be worth it. Yeah. Yep, that is very accurate. And also, another thing people were collecting that they thought would be valuable. You guys remember, who remembers Pogs? Anyone know what Pogs are? I used Pogs, where you'd buy a tube, and then get little, like, they just look like, they're little round pieces of cardboard, pictures on them, really. And every once in a while, there was, like, a metal one called a Slammer. My dad used to take me, like, my dad used to watch me because, like, my mom would be working. My dad's a retired vet, a retired Green Beret from Vietnam. So, and he's considered a disabled vet, so he didn't work. My mother worked like 2 days a week, but like those 2 days a week, we'd always go visit my mom at her job. I have such fond memories of that because, like, we'd go visit her, and on the way, we'd always stop at the comic store. I had a comic store near me called Carol's Comics, and he'd buy me, like, my dad would let me pick 100 Pogs for $1, and so you'd get your little tube, fill it with Pogs. And also, I'd pick up a couple comics and then go to a rental store across the street called Movie Scene and rent, like, a Super Nintendo game. It was awesome, man. Like, that was the 90s. Alf is back in Pog form? Really? I got a tube of Pogs in the closet. I remember those. Awesome. So there's some old men in here like me. I don't want to see your Pog collection. I don't have a Pog collection anymore. I got rid of that for... I don't even know what I did with that. Like, over the years, just... I'm sure I sold it somewhere. Okay. Oh, see? No, I can't pick a different character. I can only continue. Well, I'll go back to the titles. Wait, change character. It's grayed out. I want Dazzler. I'll go back to the title screen after this level and just pick stage 3. Because you could warp. Since I've already beaten the game. I always thought Blob was funny. It's just a giant fat dude. Nothing could move the Blob. Your dad's a badass man then. Yeah, no, my dad is funny because when I was a kid, you know how usually there's a parent that says no to things and then the other one says yes? In our family, it was my mom. Not all the time, but my mom was usually the one that would say no. And I knew, like, my dad always... My dad's like I am with the kids. Like, I always wanted to be the hero, so it's like, alright, I'll take you to the comic store. Just don't tell your mom. So we'd go, and man, that's what got me into comics and all that. Like, it was weekly comic book, or weekly trips to the comic book store. Alright, see you later, Logan Meyer. Let me get out of here real quick, just to pick Dazzler. Stage 3 jungle. That is a solution right there. There we go. Dazzler! I always liked her dazzle bombs right here. I always thought that looked so cool graphically. Like throwing that big ass bomb. Dazzler, forgotten X-Men character. No clue who this is. Who, Dazzler Rogue Dragon? Yeah, she was very short-lived part of the X-Men. Well, not really. She was there in the 80s a lot, but once the 90s came around, they forgot all about her. Remember that board game Crossfire? Absolutely. That was I never had it, but the commercial, every kid in the 90s loved that. Crossfire! Crossfire! I remember Board James, Cinemassacre, they did a video on it. Back when Magneto chilled on an island rather than space, yep. This on PS3. I don't know, Rojack. You might want to check because I'm not sure. Because this was a Konami arcade. And I know Konami, they took off a lot of their arcade games from the PlayStation Store. Which The Simpsons included. So I don't know if this is... I mean, I'm playing right now PS3. I don't know if it's still available. I really have no idea. Jesus, that bomb. Yeah, technically it's sound. For those of you that don't know Dazzler, she turns sound into... Well, not explosions. She messes with sounds and stuff, so... Sound blasts, I guess you call it. Dazzler, aka 80s Jubilee. Exactly. They have the exact same powers, except one's pyrotechnics, the other one's sound. It's the same shit. They once turned her vampire, Dazzler? I didn't know that. Oh, no, Blob or whoever the fact... Yeah, no. Yeah, Blob was, he was popular in the 90s X-Men cartoon. Blob is a mutant that's just... His name says everything you need to know about him. He's just a fat guy. I don't even know why he qualifies as a mutant. He could just be someone that's morbidly overweight. But, like, over the years, they clarified his powers. He's not just fat. He also has a gravitational, invisible field around him. So you can't move him. That's how he's a mutant. He's just fat. That's it. I think there's probably more forgotten X-Men than there are current. Oh, that's for sure. There's been so many. One of the stages in AVGN 2 is based on Crossfire. Ooh. Yeah, we're going to be streaming that game this year, guys. Since I did the first one. I looked it up, not there anymore, unfortunately. Damn, that's a... And also, and it sucks, but the Ninja Turtles game, the Turtles in Time Reshelled, the shitty redo they did, I think that went off too. I think Konami just pulled all of those arcade games off the market. I think their rights expired and they weren't able to renew them or something. That's why it's so important to... I always made it a big deal back then to download these games right away. Because even if like your console breaks and you get a new one, you can re-download what you already paid for. Even if it's no longer available on the marketplace. But if the games go away and you never bought them, like, gone forever. Hey, Adrian, what's up, man? Glad you can make it. Famous line. Welcome to die! It makes no sense. I didn't know who Dazzler was either. A lot of people don't know Dazzler. And this is one to go. Oh! Damn. How dare you throw a woman like that? Eat my sound. Ah! I can slap him. Dick slap. Oh, shit. Where did Magneto get the Alligator Man? I think Magneto actually genetically engineered a lot of these things in the Savage Land. Depending on what version of the comics you're reading.
Go and rescue Kitty from the cave.
Konami turn their heel on their customers. Yep. He said it, yep. Gotta go, be back soon. Alright, HLO. Not TMNT Reshelled. I bought that one, but it won't let me re-download it. Oh, really? That game was such a disappointment. They really... Like, I would have rather just had a re-release of Turtles in Time. It didn't need to be reshelled. They made it look bland and ugly. I had Scott Pilgrim vs. the World on PS3. Oh, yeah, that's another one that disappeared. That game's a lot of fun. I was never... Oh, they don't have it for re-download either? See, that's why, like, honestly, like, I love digital. I prefer digital over physical. But this is one reason I don't really like the idea of digital replacing physical completely. I think both options should always be available, because what about situations like that, you know, where, like, even if your whole library is digital, if the worst case happens and, like, some service gets forever shut down and you can never get all your games back, you can at least, there's physical options available. Perfect example, which I reviewed last year, Transformers Fall of Cybertron. That game, I reviewed the Xbox One remaster, which looks awesome. Plays way smoother than the 360 and PS3 version. Activision lost the license, and they pulled it from the marketplace. And they never made a physical copy of it for Xbox One. It just, they never made one. It was digital only. So there, I always get people, I had to put a note in my review, because I always have people asking me, like, hey, I don't see this on the store, how can I get this? And I always have to tell them, like, PS3 360 only. They took it off the marketplace. Would you want to have X-Men crossover with Tom Holland Spider-Man or Miles Morales? Tom Holland Spider-Man, definitely. I like the Spider-Verse movie, but let's put the X-Men where they belong. Let's put them in the MCU. That boss looked like an albino Blackheart, yep. The Wendigo is a common Wolverine enemy. Oh! Iron Man Sentinels. Wait, you paid for it and they won't let you download it? How messed up is that? Yeah, I think for some games, for most games, you're supposed to be able to re-download it, but for some of them, like that, for example, they pulled them out completely. Like PT, like that PT demo, for example, kind of like that, which was amazing. I adore these old school graphics compared to better modern for some games. I completely agree. I might be showing my age, but I'd rather play this any day over, like, and don't get me wrong, I play modern games still, obviously, but if I had a choice, I would rather play, like, a simple 90s beat-em-up like this over something like, I don't know, something modern, like Call of Duty, or, like, Far Cry, or Doom, or Halo. Even though those are awesome, and I love the new Doom, but there's something about these old retro beat-em-ups that it's just, like, they're so much fun, even if you've played them 1,000 times and beaten them over and over like I have. It's so much easier to make digital games lost forever, yeah. Which is one reason I do support emulation / piracy, whatever you want to call it. I support it. Because to me, it really is about game preservation. And I feel like the people that are against emulation in general are the ones that don't really dive into it and understand why it's important to gaming. And besides that, aside from game preservation, games can look way better when they're emulated. Like, people complain how, like, blurry old games look on new TVs. Not if you're emulating it. They have filters designed specifically for that reason, you know? You just gotta pick the right settings. Have you played Guardian Hero? Yeah, actually, I never played the original Sega Saturn version, but I actually have it on my 360. They re-released the Sega Saturn game as an Xbox Live Arcade game for some reason. So it's got achievements and everything. Yeah, that game's art style is really cool. It looks almost like a cartoon. Well, like an anime, but like an actual, like, anime instead of a game. Dazzler will dazzle you! Have you played Marvel Superheroes War of the Gems? Yes. I used to own that game. Actually, no, I didn't own that game. I rented it repeatedly, and I actually reviewed that game last year in my Button Smash playlist. I love that game. Although, like I said, as far as Capcom's concerned, I think the Mutant Apocalypse was the better game. Damn. What was it, Nimrod? No, I don't. Who is? I don't think this is Nimrod. Oh! Die! It's a Metallo. Funny, my little bro could be a body double for Tom Holland. He looked exactly like him. That's awesome. Treasure games are the best. Man, Treasure was awesome back in the day. Nut slap. Die, kitty.
You must rescue the professor.
Oh God, her voice. You must rescue the professor. I agree. They did a little copy and paste throughout the. Yeah, if you play War of the Gems for Super Nintendo, it's copy and paste to Mutant Apocalypse. Mutant Apocalypse did come first. I think it did. I'm pretty sure it did. But yeah, they just copy and pasted the same formula, same character select screen, everything. Except instead of having like original villains, it's based off the Infinity, the second Infinity Gauntlet storyline, which was called Infinity War. And there was a bunch of clones in it, so you're just fighting a bunch of clones throughout the whole game. And clones are lazy. Ugh! There. How they got Dazzle just kicking the shit out of Sentinels on the floor. How is she punching robots and destroying them in either way? Like, she's not super strong. What's your thought on Toad as a mutant? Like Toad from the Brotherhood? What do you mean? Like, my thoughts on it? I mean, I don't care about the character. I think he's super lame, but I mean, he's a mutant. Was there a debate on whether he's a mutant or not? Babe, when you get a chance to check out Gunstar Heroes. Oh no, I'm very aware of Gunstar Heroes. I love that game. I put that on my what did I put that on? I put it on top. I forgot what the list I did. Like, I did a top 10 or a top 15. Oh, I did like a top 15, I think, Sega Genesis list last year. And Gunstar Heroes is on there. That game's awesome. And that was Emma Frost, by the way. As the White Queen. That Infinity War comic book was strange. Yeah, and it's funny because Infinity War is the name of the movie, but it's not based off the Infinity War storyline. It's based off the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. But they use the Infinity War title. Ray Park made Toad cool. I think that was the only cool representation of Toad we've ever had. It was Ray Park. It was Darth Maul Toad. This is Emma Frost, right? Yep, that was Emma Frost. When she was super evil and part of the Hellfire Club. Have you played Alien Soldier? Oh, you mean Chicken Soldier? That Sega game that where you're playing as like a super chicken? That game's cool. That game is hard as hell, though. If I remember correctly, I think that game has no continues, right? Like Vector Man. Vector Man has no continues. Yeah, Punky Toad from the first movie was better than the Jester-looking one. That Jester one was so shitty looking. That was the original version. Like, what a horrible costume. I love these pixelated graphics. Oh, it's the Reavers. By the way, fun fact here. These guys are the Reavers, I believe. And they are in the movies. And if you guys remember Logan, there was a group of mercenaries hunting him that were like part machine. That was the movie version of the Reavers. Completely different, but most things in the X-Men movies were. For extra cool points, he played Snake Eyes. Yeah. Who likes the G.I. Joe movies in here? The two. Because the G.I. Joe movies, the first one I didn't think was that great, but Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, hell yeah, they nailed those characters. But I really enjoyed the second movie. It's funny because my fiance's a Channing Tatum. She likes Channing Tatum, and I can't stand the guy. Like, I think he sucks. I don't want to see him in any movie. So I always hate him as Duke. And she liked the G.I. Joe movies because of him. And I was like, what? Come on. And then he died in the second one. And I was like, yes! And then we had The Rock. So, much better.
X-Men, nice job. Magneto is over there.
Me and Ray
Follow
Park
me.
have the same birthday. You know, it's funny. I think I have a celebrity birthday. I have, my birthday's July 2nd. I think that's the same birthday as freaking Lindsay Lohan. I don't know why I know that. I think it was Lindsay Lohan, if I'm not mistaken. Although, you can put quotes around celebrity when you're talking to her. I don't know if she's really a celebrity anymore. I think Alien Soldier has passwords, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. I remember just being really hard. Dazzler's Cartwheel of Death. What's Wolverine's deal with the Silver Samurai in the comics? They had a rivalry. They were both in love with the same woman in Japan back in the day, so they have this whole rivalry set up between the two. Another thing the movie's changed. I think her name was Yuriko. So it's kind of like Shredder and Splinter's master too. Well, Yoshi and Orokusaki. They were in love with the same woman. Oh no, Dazzler! Doesn't matter. Dazzler's got it when it continues. Oh! The only good thing about the first G.I. Joe film was Cobra Commander and the ninjas. Yeah, I agree. Although Cobra Commander, we barely got Cobra Commander in that movie. In the second G.I. Joe movie, that was Cobra Commander, for sure. I haven't watched Retaliation in forever. I loved everyone's character. But yeah, I thought Retaliation, I thought was a genuinely good G.I. Joe / action film. I like that one. The first one's the one where it was more, I don't know. I didn't like the first one that much. Other than just a few... Oh, no, clones! See, do you guys see what I mean about this game and all the quarters it would have taken? Wolverine was in love with his half sister. What do you mean? I'm not familiar with that. Yeah, Yuriko's like Deathstrike. I don't know about this half sister business. That I don't know about. I remember I was ticked off that they redeemed Baroness. Yes. Oh yeah, they like brainwashed her. That was stupid, man. Baroness has always been she's Cobra. That's what she's Cobra. That's it. There's no like mind washing and like a freaking romance with Duke. Notice in the second movie they didn't even address that. Was I the only one that had the problem with Logan the movie? They created X-23 because the DNA of Logan's was too degraded to recreate him, but they created a male clone later in the movie. However, it's been a while since I saw the movie. The male clone was pretty messed up, though, wasn't he? Like, he wasn't a perfect clone. Silver Samurai's half-sister, Mariko. Wolverine was in love with her. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. But I didn't know she was his half-sister. That I wasn't aware of. That's weird. Different culture, I suppose. See, why not have Apocalypse in this part? We're like in an Egyptian place, right? Why have generic, like, pharaoh monsters? Oh, come on, man. I think there's one more left. Oh! Snake Eyes was always the ultimate badass, yeah. You know what I wanted to see, though, that we didn't get? I wanted to see Timber, his wolf. He always had his wolf with him. Oh, he came later, but we never got that in the movie. I hate the brainwasher mind control plot lines. Yeah, I agree with that. Which is what I hate. Which is why I hate what they did with Hawkeye in the first Avengers movie. My favorite Avenger, I mean, I wear the logo for Hawkeye, for those of you that don't know. on my head all the time on my videos. And he was just the brainwashed villain in the first Avengers movie. Alright, you know what? Let's go back to the title screen and go to Wolverine. I wanna beat the game as Wolverine. Oops. What level is that, Jungle K? Wait a minute. What's the trap? Were we at the trap? Or were we at Magneto's base? Oh no, see, we were at Magneto's base. Let me go back. Wolverine! There we go. I like his powers. Look, laser sword! Or laser claws. This is actually my favorite Wolverine outfit. I always like the brown and yellow look. I thought that was cool. Anyone remember the G.I. Joe animated movie from the 80s? Actually, yes. I plan to review that soon, and I have the Blu-ray version. That's a movie I've been meaning to review for a while now. And it had an awesome, like, intro battle sequence. I want to live on Astrodome. He was messed up, but what I meant was the reason X-23 was female was because his DNA was too degraded to make a male. I don't know. Comic book logic, I suppose. Or comic book movie logic. I guess they need to explain X-23 in there somehow. Wolverine still got a Sonic. Yeah, it's a Wolverine Sonic Boom, you're right. I still need the G.I. Joe 80s movie to complete my collection. I picked it up on Amazon for like 10 or 15, like 10 or 12 bucks, something like that, back when it first came out. Didn't they censor the animated G.I. Joe movie? I have no idea. I don't know about any censorship on that. The X-Men arcade game is odd in the regard it uses designs from a canceled X-Men cartoon that predated the 90s. Actually, this game too, I believe this game came out before the animated series aired. Otherwise, maybe they would have looked like the 90s series. He learned Sonic Boom from Charlie alongside Guile. Oh, he learned it from Charlie alongside Guile before the event Street Fighter 2. Hey, actually, Charlie is the same character as Blanca, according to the Street Fighter 2 movie. Or Street Fighter the movie. That was such a bullshit. Carlos Blanca, that was his name. Oh my god. Too bad you can't do a fastball. Yeah. Have Colossus chuck Wolverine. See, look at this. This is where all your quarters would go back in the day because there was a boss gauntlet. Love your Resident Evil chronological timeline. Huge fan. Keep up the good work. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, Mr. Godchild. Part 5 and 6. And yes, I will be doing a Metal Gear Solid timeline eventually, although I do have a couple planned before that. Part 5, I am working on the timeline. The reason it's taking a while, guys, because I know a lot of you guys have been wanting it for a little while, but I took a little break over the holidays, worked on some shorter content, and now I'm full-time working on, besides streaming, I'm full-time working on the Resident Evil timeline. Couple reasons why this one in particular takes a long time is because Resident Evil 6, for example, is a long-ass game. I'm just about done getting all the footage. And then putting it all together, it'll take a couple days, plus the editing, and putting everything in chronological order in Resident Evil 6 is as complicated as all those Resident Evil 2 Raccoon City events. If you're trying to put all the things chronologically, so that's why it takes a little while. And on top of that, Resident Evil Revelations 2, one of the movies are in there, so it takes a little time, but it'll be worth it. But it's coming. Normally, I'd say by early next week. However, being realistic, I'm almost guaranteeing it's going to get hit with a copyright claim, because it seems that anything that touches the CG movies Sony tries to claim. So we'll see what happens, but usually the claims get released in like a week or so. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated, but in the meantime, I have other content, like always, like the streams that I do, and I might have a couple short videos coming up this week on some topics that I want to talk about, but only if I can fit the time. Hua! There we go. Well, that won't stop you from taking creative liberties. That is true. I love when the bosses are about to start talking and you just start whacking on them. Oh, come on, man. What the hell? You can't kick Wolverine. Look how short Wolverine is. Look at that. He's literally like shorter than Magneto's chest. I was watching GameSack's review of comic games, and I like GameSack. I haven't seen that specific video. I'll have to check that out. Dave said the X-Men games were disappointing, but Mutant Apocalypse and X-Men 2 on Genesis are gems. I don't think he likes very hard games. I agree that Mutant Apocalypse and X-Men 2 on Genesis are great, but I disagree with a lot of his opinions on games that aren't very good. And sometimes he says games are really hard, and there are games I played where I'm like, that's not that hard. Have you played Justice League vs. Street Fighter? No, never heard of that fan game. Anyone remember the time Wolverine became feral? Yes. I didn't like that. Isn't that when they were trying to explain that he wasn't a mutant? That he was actually from like some ancient tribe of wolf people? Which they undid that real quick. This is the actual Magneto battle. Sorry I'm late. How's it going? How you doing, Mystery? Yeah, we are almost at the end of the stream. I know it's a little shorter than most days, but that's why I had 2 games instead of just the one. And I got Resident Evil to go work on also. Ha! Oh, shit. It's okay. Wolverine's gonna kill you, Magneto.
You shall meet with my...
Ha! You mean like the guy that said Curse of the Moon was harder than Castlevania 3? Yeah, I completely disagree with that. I don't understand. Who was it that said that? I forgot. I remember we were talking about that. Was that also GameSack? It adds something when the final boss taunts you. Like, imagine playing this with your little sweaty child hands in a 90s arcade. You're running along quarters and Magneto is going ha 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 at you every 2 seconds. It's infuriating. Damn, man, he's doing these Kung Fu Magneto kicks. Look at this. X-Chicken. Ugh! I'm gonna slice you, bitch. Oh, oh! Did he just say that's chicken? No, he called me an X-Chicken. Damn, man, that would have been like $2 right there. Yeah! Magneto's dead. Again. Spidey and X-Men Arcade's Revenge. I could never beat that game. I always died. Shao Kahn learned to shit talk from Magneto. How are you supposed to read all of that? Note, the game is not over yet? Oh, you know what? I think what happens, I think it just starts back at the beginning. So that's how they keep you in certain quarters. Let's see. Magneto got welcome to die. You should review the 90s X-Men show. Yes, I told you guys, this year I want to do a lot more like animated series reviews. The first ones being Batman the Animated Series and Captain N the Game Master. Definitely Captain N the Game Master first, because I've been talking about that for months. Oh, too short a stream? I mean, we've been going 2 hours, 12 minutes. So I guess it's a healthy amount. Holy crap, the English in this game is terrible. I played the Spidey and X-Men game so much I got good at it and beat it. Tried to... Yeah, I remember I could never beat, like, there's some levels, I think it was Gambit, where there's a giant spike ball just rolling behind you. Oh yeah, see, the game's not over, it starts. Next week is Onimusha, yes. So, I'll cut the stream off here, but just in the meantime, just to let you guys know what's coming up. This month is going to be a little, the schedule's going to be a little wild this month. I'll tell you why. Wednesday, we're going to finish up Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z, just the final boss. So, realistically, depending on how many times I die, that stream might be like 30 minutes to an hour. It's just an extra stream. But we're at the same time, Wednesday, Friday, we're going to start Castlevania 64. And then, Resident Evil Timeline, I'll keep you updated on the community tab. But, when Onimusha comes out and when Resident Evil 2 comes out, the day those games come out, like in the middle of the day, I'm just going to start streaming and playing them. Just because I want to play them and review them. So... it's just going to be an off-day stream, so if you guys want to jump in, jump in. I don't know if I'm really going to schedule it, well, I probably will schedule in advance, but yeah, you'll see it pop up. It's not going to be a regular stream day, just when it comes out, and then I'll just play it till I beat it over a couple days, so we'll have some off days this month, so just have your notifications on. And I might have a video coming tomorrow about some cool topics I want to talk about, but it depends on how much I get done tonight on the Resident Evil timeline. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'll cut it off here. Thank you for joining me for a Mighty Marvel Monday. Oh, let me kill this one guy. There, he's dead. Bam! Alright. But you guys have a good night. It's been a fun semi-short stream. Fun games. Buy the Super Nintendo one if you haven't already. This one's already too late. I will catch you guys later. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button with all of your strength. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any new content. You can follow me on social media or go into my community tab for updates. And for as little as $1 a month, you can support the channel directly on Patreon. This is Fabian, I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.